Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast, Wine Therapy. Last podcast episode that I published, the breakup part two, he cheated on me. um, I'm so happy that, okay, mixed emotions. I'm really happy that that podcast episode did really well. Um, but at the same time, I'm also like really sad that that's been relatable for people. With the amount of people that related to my last podcast episode, it's been really overwhelming in a positive and also kind of a sad way, where it's been really nice how many people have reached out saying that, the podcast episode helped them. They relate to it. It was nice to hear someone talk through the emotions. And um, I got a lot of messages, which really warmed my heart, and encouraged me to, like, keep doing what I'm doing. And um, it's actually making a difference. And it also really upset me at the same time of how many people like related to that episode of like being cheated on. And it's just like seeing comments and like my TikTok on a post I did that did really well. It just broke my heart reading through it, seeing how many people have experienced something similar or even worse, or went back to them after. And it's just, there's just so many comments that broke my heart to read through, that it has been relatable to so many people. But at the same time, it's been really comforting knowing that I'm not going through this alone, and neither are any of you guys who relate to it as well. And being that episode did really well, and I gained a lot of new followers, I thought it would be a good time to kind of reintroduce myself. As in this episode, I wanted to kind of do a 2026 prep plan of how to kind of set up yourself for the new year, and setting intentions, goal setting, and really just like how to approach the new year of 2026 that we have coming up, and ways to reflect on the year of 2025. So, that being said, I started Wine Therapy, my podcast, I think 2024. I had just graduated college early, and I decided, I've always wanted to do this. I feel like a lot of things that I like went through are things that any average girl in their 20s can relate to, and it felt really isolating at the time. And I realized it doesn't have to feel so isolating, because it's kind of just like canon events that happen to all of us. And so I started this podcast, kind of as like a place to kind of just like keep it real. Like, these things happen. It also happens to everyone. So it's kind of like a big reminder that we're not going through these blimps or hardships by ourselves, even though sometimes it feels really isolating and that we are. So when I started this podcast, it was kind of a place to drop drama, hot takes, life's hardships and lessons, and dating, and all the in between, relationships, friendships, just really everything. And I feel like it's grown so much since I first started making my podcast. And I think that's exactly what I wanted to happen. I really wanted to grow with an audience, because I knew that the audience would hopefully be growing with me and through these things together. Um, and I feel like with the support that I've gained over the past little over a year, I think it's been really encouraging that, um, they might be small accomplishments, but they're accomplishments. And I think that everybody needs to celebrate their own accomplishments. So I'm really happy and proud of this podcast and how it's grown, and how I haven't given it up. And that it's just something that I enjoy doing, and that other people have enjoyed listening to. I think that's kind of just the cherry on top, is that I'm loving doing this, and I'm glad to hear that, the intention behind it is actually happening. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about 2025 a little bit. I'm very like symbolic. Is that the right word for this? I think that a new year is such a good clean slate. I know that it's literally like a year like a day difference of like New Year's Eve versus New Year's, but like I think it is such a good time to use it as like a harsh new beginning. It's like, okay, I think that's what a lot of people use it for, New Year's resolutions, like I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to this, I'm going to that. And I think that it's a really great time to force yourself to sit down and reflect on the year of 2025 or the prior year and decide things that you want to move forward with and growing even more habits, lifestyle choices, things like that. And then also identifying the things you don't want to bring with you into the new year. And then going about that intentionally into the new year with harsh goals in mind and a plan. And I'm also very type A, if you couldn't tell. My notes app is, if I didn't have the notes app on my phone, I don't know where I'd be today. I'm not even kidding. Anyways, I'm very type A. So I just see these things as like very symbolic. And it's like, even if it doesn't actually matter, that's just how I see things like that because it's a great new time to change things that you wanted to change. It's like a starting line, in my opinion. And like, for example, I know it doesn't like, I don't know. I think full moons are so interesting. My uncle was a CEO of a psych ward, and he even says like full moons are like legit, like it makes the crazies crazy. And I think full moons are also a really great time. Like it was just the last full moon of the year, I think last week, and I was so into it. I was like doing rituals and like burning sage, like even if it's doesn't do anything like at all, it's still just like kind of a cool like mental health thing that I like to do. I have a thing of sage. I burn it when I'm feeling negative energy. Do I think it does anything? I don't know. Is it kind of like a nice ritual for myself to do? And it kind of forced myself to be like, okay, it's a reset now. Like I burned my sage, the energy's gone. Like I can move forward like this. Like I know it kind of sounds silly when I say it out loud, but I kind of see that as um, a similarity to the new year. So, that being said, looking back on this past year, I've already kind of discussed like my podcast growth, which has been amazing, and the support that I've had is so awesome. Um, as for this past year, I've seen a lot of growth within myself. Um, and not to sound like negative, because I don't mean this to sound super negative, but I think that this has been the worst year of my life. So there's that. I think it has been the most challenging year of my entire life. Looking back at January of last year I can't believe it's already going to be January soon. Um, I think I've, I think I've pushed myself outside of my comfort zone, which I'm proud of. I think that um, I've kind of lost myself a little bit. I've never been so confused with life right now where I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I want to do. I'm looking to move out right now by March. I'm living with my parents. And now that I actually have like a date that I'm moving, I'm just facing all these things that I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm so scared and confused and overwhelmed. And um, thinking about that, where it's like, which path do I want to take on my next kind of like lifetime almost? And on top of that, it's like the relationships that I've had this year. Friendships have changed. Um, a lot of friendships, like new friendships, they've grown, which has been great. But it's just been overall a really challenging year. I just got out of a relationship that I've had this year, and that has been really challenging and difficult. And I just feel like everything kind of happened all at once. I was actually talking to my therapist today, second session. It's been weird. And she like made a comment like, yeah, that's probably really overwhelming. Like all this is happening all at once. And I'm like, yeah, but I feel like that has been this entire year. Like seriously, I feel like this year has been continuing to like humble me. And I think that I've learned and changed and have grown the most I've ever had within 1 year. But I also think that comes with it being the most challenging and difficult year of my life. And I think that it's not a coincidence that those things come hand in hand. But I think that going through challenging and hard times and mental health struggles, I think all of that is what makes us stronger. And I think that's why I reflect back and I'm like, yeah, this has been a terrible year, but it's also been a really great year for my own growth and new perspectives, new lessons that I've learned. And I think looking into the new year, I'm really excited because I feel like I have an opportunity to leave all this negativity from this past year in the past and use it to rediscover myself in this next year. I think that in my last relationship, I really lost myself. And now that it's over and done forever, thank God, I um I'm like excited to like meet my future self. If that doesn't sound like so cheesy that you want to throw up, because it just made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Oh my God. But it's true. Like I am really excited to like meet my who my future self is going to be, because I think that I see so many great things coming in the next year that I think if I've grown this much from like this past year, then it's only going to get even better. Okay. As for setting intentions in 2026, I highly recommend journaling. I like to journal. I try to journal often, but if I don't, then I feel like it's just exhausting to like spill out my guts all in one go and my hand's going to fall off. But this was kind of a fun journal prompt that I did. And it was looking back at 2025 and reflecting on everything that's happened, like the ways you've healed, the ways that you've hurt, grown, habits that you enjoyed, habits that you want to continue building, habits that you want to leave behind, and just really reflecting on the whole year of 2025. And then you do the same thing for setting intentions and setting goals for the year of 2026. And this is a great thing to do because you kind of like have to sit and force yourself to write out goals, write out where you see yourself. And that might not be a place, that might not be a job, that might just be emotionally or whatever that looks like for you. And writing that out and then comparing the two lists or paragraphs or whatever. And you compare the two and you kind of go through each to figure out, okay, what habits do I need to leave behind to attain the goals that I just wrote down for 2026? And what habits do I need to strengthen for myself to reach that goal in 2026? And then you write that out of habits you want to keep, things that you want to change, things that you want to leave behind. And it's kind of like, it's another one of those like rituals where you kind of leave something behind. Um, you kind of get it out of your system, you write it down, you put it on paper, and then you set that intention. I mean, how many times do we hear in like podcasts or people saying like, oh, write out your goals, like write down your goals? It's like, there's truth to that, you know? And so that doesn't mean you have to do it every day because I've tried to do that and it's just exhausting, but it's probably good. So probably should do that. But it's kind of just a good way to like release everything from 2025, release the negativity, and set intentions of how you want to rebuild or strengthen for the next year. So I did that and I thought it was super beneficial. I mean, I talked about a lot of terrible things that happened in 2025 that I felt like really hurt me and changed me. But then I wrote who I wanted to be in 2026 and the career goals that I have, the intentions that I have for myself as a person. And then when I looked back on it, it was actually really clear and easy to figure out what I need to focus on, what I need to get rid of in my life. And once I wrote that out, it just felt so simple that it's like, okay, I can reach these goals. I just need to like stop these couple of bad habits or negative thoughts and negativity, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to be fine. And honestly, it was the most encouraging thing I've done because now I'm looking at 2026 and I'm like, I mean, it's probably because I'm coming out of like the worst year of my life that I'm like, can't get worse than that, right? um, it totally probably can, but I kind of just like laugh because I'm like, well, it's going to be a good year because again, it can't get worse than this past year. It's been really challenging, but if it is worse than this year, I'm going to learn that much more from it, and then the next year has to be better, right? It's just I'm learning a lot about myself through this time, and it's been cool because I've been really wanting to focus on myself, and I think a lot of people say that, especially when they're single, being like, "Oh no, I'm just focusing on myself." And I think that it's really easy to just say that, but like not actually focus on yourself. Like I feel like we put ourselves in these boxes to identify as like, "Oh, I'm single, but it's cuz I'm focusing on myself." To like almost make us feel better about ourselves, and like I've done it too. But I think it's really important, especially after like hard times or um, a hard breakup. I think it's really important that you do focus on yourself, rebuild yourself, and kind of figure out who you are again. After like hard times, and that's where the growth actually happens. It's not experiencing the negative things that happen to you. It's how you come out of it and how you strengthen yourself, pick yourself back up, whether you do that by yourself or with the support of friends and family. That is where you see growth, and that is where you mature as well. So I think it's important to actually take the time, and when you say that you're going to be by yourself, you actually, hold yourself to it and take time to yourself, focus on yourself, and not just sit around and be single because you're focusing on yourself. Actually take the steps to focus on yourself. Journal, set intentions, set goals, network, meet new people, make new friends, push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Try something you've always wanted to try. Go on solo dates. Focusing on yourself is so easy to just say that you're doing, but it's really important that you actually focus on yourself and learn and grow in that time of being by yourself. And that is what I'm doing now. And I'm excited to continue bringing into the year of 2026. So that's all for tonight. I am so excited how many new followers and support that I have. And welcome if you're new. And if you're not new, thank you for continuing to support me. It seriously is, I can't even put into words how grateful I am for it. So thank you guys and have a happy holidays if I don't talk to you until then, and happy new year, and set your intentions and burn sage and charge crystals in a full moon and write out your goals. It's awesome. And drink wine. Okay. Bye guys.